Alright, so I know what you're thinking, right? Toxic. You said you were going to take a break. Does this mean you're back? No, this does not mean I'm back. I'm not back. I won't be back until the Q&A video comes out. Um, but this is a kind of a big deal, and I don't want to completely miss out on this. Because, some of you guys that have been around for a very long time know that I didn't care too much for The Last of Us Part 1, but I am was kind of hyped for The Last of Us Part 2, and as a lot of you probably know, unless you were living under a rock, pretty much the entire game got leaked or spoiled by supposedly an angry ex Naughty Dog dev, right? Like, I guess they walked away recently and decided to get back at the company by leaking all this, because there's been complaints lately about Naughty Dog and how they handle crunch, because someone else who left Naughty Dog was like, hey, yeah, if they had some experienced people working on the game would have been out like a year ago, something to that effect. And then Naughty Dog was like withholding their final paycheck, just a whole bunch of scummy stuff that has really tainted Naughty Dog's reputation. But I just wanted to jump in and go over some of the leaks. So, right here, do not watch this video any further if you don't want spoilers for The Last of Us 2. Now, I don't know if this stuff is accurate. Neil Druckmann hasn't addressed whether or not it's accurate, but he has said, not to spoil the game for yourself. So I have to feel like, I just kind of have to think that this might be at least a little bit accurate. So let's just go ahead and take a look at this. If you're still here, let's dive in. All right. So I don't exactly know what these pictures were supposed to be. It took me a while to get to this information because I actually could not find the leaks themselves for a very long time. I tried for about an hour to actually find the leaks. I couldn't find any of the gameplay footage that people were talking about, but this is what I've been able to find. So I'm sorry it took too long and these pictures aren't here anymore, but it's the best I can do. So first off, we have confirmed. 1, you play the first half of the game as Ellie, the second half as Abby, the character featured in the PGW 2017 trailer, played by Laura Bailey. Proof: the leaked level list divides the game's levels between Ellie's levels and Abby's levels if you take a look to the left. What is that? Oh, fair enough. Okay. 2, the game has you fighting Ellie from the perspective of Abby. Proof: the level list above. 3, Dina is pregnant with Jesse's baby. Her and Ellie are trying to start a family. Proof from the leaked cutscene between Dina and Ellie below. Can't post it here but just believe me, I've seen it myself. I'm not gonna say anything about the credibility of that. 4, Joel dies at the hands of Abby. I can't read. Proof: there's a scene early on in the game, Jackson. It must take place in Jackson, where Joel gets his skull caved in by Abby with a golf club. Later on, a scene between Ellie and Dina takes place where Dina explicitly mentions Joel and Jesse being dead. Did I miss something from the first game? Who's Jesse? The only characters I can think of from the first game: Joel, Ellie, Tommy, Marlene, that one guy from whatever. I don't know who Jesse is. Dina, so what, I'm supposed to sit here and wait for you for God knows how long, just thinking you're fucking dead the entire time. I don't plan on dying. Yeah, well, neither did Jesse or Joel. 5, Abby versus Ellie, courtesy of this person. Confirmed. I confirmed this is real, by the way. Abby is about to slit Dina's throat. Ellie, stop. She had nothing to do with it. Abby turns to Ellie. Ellie, she is pregnant. Abby, good. Wants to kill her. Live. Abby, if you let me catch sight of you again, literal German translation, never come under my eyes again. Okay. Unconfirmed speculation. We'll go through this before I give my thoughts on everything that we just went over. One of the surgeons Joel killed had a daughter called Abby. The Firefly massacre destroyed her whole life. She's been looking for revenge ever since. Knew who Ellie was because of her dad talking about their child had a cure. Figured out Joel from Firefly records. Cult attacked at Ellie's settlement, and she, Jesse, and Dinah, I guess, spelled differently now, are part of the same group sent to track down and attack it. Jesse is killed during this. Ellie is now violently angry and goes to Seattle looking for the cult's home to wipe it out. Meets Joel there because he heard about Jesse and came back to help her. Abby finds Ellie because she's been in conflict with the cult too. So when Ellie hunts them to Seattle and is set to attack them with Joel, her group find them and attack. She kills Joel herself, takes Ellie back to camp, debating on what to do with her, since for all her hate, she doesn't blame her for the massacre. Ellie butchers her group to escape, and Abby is now motivated to hunt her down. Second half of the game is spent as Abby chasing Ellie. Ellie continues hunting the cult while you chase her down. Ending is Ellie and Abby fighting to the death. You kill Ellie as Abby, and she leaves while realizing that she's not really won in any meaningful way, since all she's done is get more of her loved ones killed for the sake of her killing Joel and then Ellie. Ending is cycle of revenge with loose implication, Ellie's friends will hunt Abby now in return. Alright, so I'm just going to go through what is supposedly confirmed. I don't like the concept of not playing as Joel at all in this game. I know he's old, right? Because I think this is like 5 years after the first game, and he was already pretty old in the first game. But we experience a good 80% of The Last of Us through Joel. So to not have him playable at all in the game is a huge mistake. We knew that Ellie was going to be a bigger focus on the, as far as gameplay goes in this game, but I didn't think Joel was going to be a non-option at all. So that's kind of disgusting. I don't think one of my friends is active on Steam. Please don't go after them if that is in the recording. I'm actually not sure if it's going to be. Anyway, the game has you fighting Ellie from the perspective of Abby. I don't think it's good structure to have a hero from a previous game, or like a protagonist from a previous game, get flipped and turned into a villain figure for the next game. Do you guys remember Ninja Gaiden Yaiba? You probably don't. That's a game where you play as some cyborg ninja named Yaiba who was killed by Ryu and then brought back to life and now wants to kill Ryu for revenge. Why, oh why, would I want to play a Ninja Gaiden game, A, where I don't play as Ryu, and B, where I hunt him down? You can take literally any game, Prince of Persia, but you hunt Destan. Another Assassin's Creed game, but you hunt, well, never mind, that's already a thing. What else works? Fucking Uncharted, but you hunt Nathan. I don't know. It's just not smart to take a character that we already have an emotional connection to and make them the bad guy. I get that it's like, oh, we're trying for you to like have an emotional connection to this person, care for this person because of what the main character's indirect involvement caused this person to go through. But that's just sloppy. Introducing someone entirely new to make them the enemy of somebody that we cared about, but to make the person that we cared about the enemy for us, that's just sloppy design, if you ask me. I don't care about this whole Dina being pregnant with Jesse's baby, trying to start a family. I know a lot of people are like, oh, the lesbians of us too, oh, Neil Cuckman, blah, 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 LGBT agenda. Ellie's been gay since the first game, and a lot of us knew. If you played Left Behind, you knew she was lesbian. I don't care. Joel dies at the hands of Abby. Again, I was sure that Joel was probably going to die in this game, just as sure as I was that Luke Skywalker was going to die in The Last Jedi. But much like with Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi, I wanted him to go out with a little bit of dignity. A little bit more sauce than that, you know? Like maybe there's a whole swarm of some new breed of super zombie coming after them, and the only thing Joel can do to make sure that Ellie gets to safety is hold down the fort for as long as he can before they overrun him and kill him. You know, the same sort of thing that Tess did for Joel in the last game. Kind of like a cyclical thing that's also kind of beautiful, kind of poetic, and would have some sort of impact. Not just, oh, I got slapped with a golf club and I'm dead now. Oh gosh. Abby versus Ellie. I think having Ellie, because I know that this is from the speculation thing, but having Ellie also die in this game would be such a mistake. You can't kill the only characters that we truly cared that much about from the last game. Like, I haven't been very vocal about it here on the channel, but in my personal life, I've talked about I don't think that the structure of The Last of Us's story is very neatly done, and I don't think the gameplay is very good. I was hoping that they would give both of those a new coat of paint, because the gameplay that I saw for this game was looking kind of nice. But as far as the story in the first game, I really didn't think it was paced very well, and I felt like a lot of the character development happened in the time skips from one season to another. I'm not going to get too far into that, because if you want, I can do a sustaining mediocrity video on it. It's about time for me to do one anyway. I haven't done one since Arkham Knight, I don't think. So I need to go ahead and sit down and do that. But this is definitely not the improvement DLC that I was hoping for The Last of Us to get. I was never truly excited for this game, and now I'm just really not. This is definitely not the play. The game's also releasing earlier than it was supposed to because of these leaks. Funny story, I pre-ordered this game because when I went to GameStop, it was like, oh, you got a free pre-order, what do you want to put it on? I was like, well, of course, I had already planned on pre-ordering Final Fantasy, so I used one to do that. And then, like, the $5 a month that you get, I don't know if they still do that, but they were like, you can throw that on another pre-order if you want. And I was like, okay, Ghost of Tsushima. But I couldn't do that yet because the release date hadn't been announced, and I couldn't pre-order a game that did not have a release date. So I was like, fuck it, The Last of Us. And now I'm hoping I can find some way to cancel that pre-order, because I haven't paid anything on it since then. But I really don't want this game. If this is what's in store for me, if this is my next 25, 30-hour experience in a game, you can have it. You can have that back. You can send that straight back to the factory where you found it from. I don't want this. This whole thing is bad. Now, sure, right? Benefit of the doubt. Maybe this whole thing is made up. Maybe none of this is true at all. Oh, hold on. Is everyone saying Abby kills Ellie? Doesn't happen. Ellie weakly begs Abby to stop. Subtitles show this word. Abby stops and holds Dina up to her face with the knife to her neck, getting ready to slit Dina's throat. Before she does, however, Lev calls out to her. I don't know who that is. Seemingly to try to convince her not to kill Dina. It works. She tosses Dina aside before leaving with Lev. Ellie then weakly reaches out to the unconscious Dina before she passes out too. That's where the video ends. Hope someone posts it back up so the rest of you can see. That doesn't make me feel any better because, I mean, this doesn't exactly disprove that Ellie doesn't die. Point is, maybe all of this is made up and none of this actually happens, but it's hard to really just say that none of this happens because of how some of the people involved with the game have been handling the situation. You know, like they haven't outright said none of this is true. So I have to assume that to some extent each of these things take place. And I'm just not into that. I'm not gonna get into a whole like LGBT political rant about it because I don't care. All I ever want in a game is a good story and good gameplay. Sometimes I'm willing to sacrifice one for the other. But The Last of Us 1 was not that compromise that I needed. And it looks like this one won't be either. But that's all I got for you guys this time. Ooh! I'm 14, and you guys never knew. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys this time, and I'll see you.